I wish I had better news.
Let me take you back to where this began, a hospital room lit by fluorescent light, machines beeping steady beside me, a tube taped to the back of my hand. I'd suffered a stroke. Minor, the doctors said. Lucky, they said. But lying there in the dark, alone, luck felt like the cruelest word anyone had ever used on me. I raised 2 children by myself after their father left. I sold my car to pay for Andrew's business degree. I mortgaged my house for Jennifer's wedding. And now, when a machine was the only thing keeping track of my heartbeat, none of them came. Not once. On the 3rd night, a nurse hesitated before answering my question, her eyes soft with something I didn't want to name. "They're traveling," she finally said. Traveling. My chest tightened harder than the stroke ever had. It took me 2 more days to learn where. Paris. The Eiffel Tower, smiling for photographs while I didn't know if I'd see morning. That hospital bed taught me something no one warns you about. The people you sacrifice everything for aren't always the people who show up. Before we dive deeper, let us know in the comments where you're watching from. We'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. My name is Diane. I'm 61 years old, and until that hospital stay, I would have told you my children were my proudest achievement. Andrew, my son, built a career in finance in the city. Jennifer, my daughter, married young and had 2 beautiful children of her own, just 20 minutes from my front door. I never asked for much from either of them. I didn't need thank you calls or Mother's Day flowers. I just wanted, in the moments that mattered most, to know they'd come. When the stroke hit me on a Tuesday morning while I was watering my garden, I remember thinking, almost calmly, that at least my children would be there by nightfall. I was wrong about that, the way I'd been wrong about a lot of things. The first day in the hospital, I told myself they simply didn't know yet. By the second day, I assumed someone was on their way, stuck in traffic, delayed at the airport. By the 3rd day, when the nurse told me they were traveling, something in me went quiet in a way I didn't recognize. I didn't cry. I just lay there, staring at the ceiling tiles, replaying every sacrifice I'd made for 2 people who apparently hadn't thought to check if I was still alive. A kind nurse named Pauline started stopping by on her breaks, just to talk, just to make sure I wasn't alone. She never asked why my family wasn't there. I think she already knew the answer better than I did. On the 5th day, my neighbor Carol showed up with a bouquet of grocery store flowers and sat with me for 3 hours, holding my hand while I finally let myself cry. Carol wasn't blood. She was just a woman who'd lived next door to me for 11 years, who noticed my mail piling up and made a call to find out where I was. It was Carol, not my own children, who sat beside my hospital bed. That night after she left, I asked the nurse quietly for a piece of paper and a pen. I didn't know yet what I was going to write. I just knew something in me had already started rewriting the story of my life. When Andrew and Jennifer finally returned from Europe, 10 days after I'd been discharged, they came to my house together, tanned and easy, carrying a small box of chocolates from the airport gift shop, as if that could stand in for everything else. Andrew hugged me and said, "We heard you had a little scare, Mom. You look great, though." A little scare. Jennifer added that they hadn't wanted to interrupt their trip, since I seemed stable according to the one update they'd gotten secondhand from a neighbor. I asked them, calmly, who had told them I was stable, since neither of them had called to check themselves. Neither one had an answer. I didn't yell. I didn't cry in front of them, not this time. I simply told them the truth as I understood it now. I told them about the tubes, the machines, the fear of not waking up. I told them about Pauline, the nurse who checked on me during her own breaks, and Carol, the neighbor who sat with me for hours while my own children posed for photographs under a landmark I'd always dreamed of seeing myself. Jennifer's eyes filled with tears, but I no longer knew if they were tears of guilt or tears of being caught. Andrew simply looked away, the way he used to when he was a boy and didn't want to admit he'd done something wrong. The paper I'd asked the nurse for turned into a new will, one I finalized quietly over the following weeks with an attorney I'd found on my own. I left a portion to Andrew and Jennifer, enough that no one could say I'd cut them off entirely. But the majority, the house, the savings I'd built alone after their father left, I left to a small trust in Carol's name and a fund at the hospital where Pauline worked, for elderly patients who spend their nights with no one beside them. I didn't do it out of spite. I did it because I finally understood something simple. Love isn't measured by the years someone has known you. It's measured by who shows up when it costs them something to do it. These days, my life looks different than I imagined it would at 61. Andrew calls more now, though I sometimes wonder if it's guilt more than love. Jennifer visits on Sundays, and I let her, because I still love her, even knowing what I know. But my closest company these days is Carol, who still brings grocery store flowers for no reason at all, and Pauline, who stops by on weekends just to check in, long after her professional obligation to me ended. I spent most of my life believing family was only the people who share your blood. That hospital room taught me the truth. Family is whoever sits beside your bed when the machines are the only thing proving you're still here. If this story meant something to you, you're not alone in feeling it. Subscribe, and we'll see you in the next story.